once we had F1 on board, and then Liberty Media wanted to know what F1 were doing, and they loved it so much that they ended up taking in equity share in the company as well.
Amazing.
So we got a 23-year license from F1.
Hey everyone, welcome to this incredible episode of the Track Limits podcast. For the last month now, we've been recording in Europe, and a lot of our skits, a lot of the episodes that we recorded have actually been here at F1 Arcade. It's a new arcade that opened up in London at the start of the year, and we're here with the person behind it. Ollie, welcome.
One of.
Yeah.
Imagine that. I just went on and just said, "Yep,
It was me.
It was all him." Yeah. Four co-founders. I'm one of the four co-founders.
Brilliant. Well, amazing. Thanks so much, firstly, for obviously hosting us and supporting us.
No problems.
But I'd love to, obviously, in the next kind of 15, 20 minutes, ask you a few questions about kind of the genesis behind the idea. So how did you even come up with the idea with your co-founders? When did that whole process even start?
Gosh, okay, let's do it. So we have been working together since 2011, 12. Our first concepts, Bounce Ping Pong was the first thing we ever did back in 2012. Really went crazy and kind of exploded this market of what is now known as competitive socializing or social entertainment. So from Bounce, we then... what did we do next? We opened more bounces. We then moved on to our first really big tech-led product, which was Putt Shack. From Putt Shack, we then moved into High Jingo, which is like the most state-of-the-art, spectacular bingo venue in the world, which they're now opening all over the place as well. But then, boosh.
COVID.
Right into
COVID.
Yeah.
The week we were opening High Jingo, we'd done all of the friends and family launches.
Yeah.
Everything was great, ready to go, and then it's like shut down. So we were all at home. Adam, who is the co-founder and the CEO of everything, Adam Breeden, he had received an email maybe in February from F1. We would get stuff sent to us all the time. Yeah. So he received an email from F1. They'd done a kind of bit of an exploratory thing saying, look, we want to give an operator a license to own and operate a hospitality venue, a social entertainment venue. We don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
Would you be interested in pitching something to us?
Yeah.
Now, if it hadn't been for COVID and lockdown 1, LD1, the best lockdown in my opinion. We would have just kept going because we were so busy with our other projects.
Yeah.
But it meant we were able to take a step back. Adam dug into this email. He got in touch with us. We then all jumped onto Zoom meets together. And from those Zoom meets, came up with a concept, came up with what we were going to do. Yeah. Initially, I was sort of a little bit, not necessarily reluctant, but for me, and this is really before Drive to Survive had landed and the impact of Liberty Media taking over F1 had really been felt. So for me, like F1 was still maybe a little bit old power, a bit fuddy-duddy, a bit stuck in its ways with elitism, all that kind of stuff. So I was like, how are we going to approach this? Because whenever we do something, it's always, how can we make something quite niche, very mass market? How do we take away from the people that love it, not to like say, no, you can't have it, but to repackage it to get a whole new audience. Yeah. So that's what we had to do from the start. So the concept came about from that. We knew we maybe wanted to do something around sim racing. Yeah. At the time, I was the only person who'd done sim racing.
Nice.
I thought it sucked.
Yeah. Oh,
the reason I say that, I love it. I love it now.
Yeah.
But the reason I say that is because I'd been like a Gran Turismo player and stuff like that. And what people don't tell you when they sit you in their sim for the first time in their bedroom, when they're like really proud of it, is it's really effing hard to do. Yeah. And you get to the first corner and you don't know how to brake, you don't know how to turn, you spin way off the track, and then the next 10 minutes you're just trying to get back on track.
Exactly.
So that was the first thing for me. It was like, right, how do we ensure that for all the newcomers that are going to come here, because 99% of our audience won't be sim racers.
Correct.
So if we made something just for sim racers,
you'll lose them.
We lose everybody.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing. It's like, okay, so we need to create a game where newcomers can sit in the car, they can pick a skill setting that's right for them, and they can get to that first corner, and the car will pretty much drive itself.
Yeah.
The other thing was like the embarrassment factor. So when you're a night out with a group of friends or work colleagues or something like that, there's always going to be like people who are super eager and are just into it, which I think it's probably you too.
Yeah.
100%.
Then there's going to be like a larger group that were kind of like, well, I'm here, I might as well enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be like 2 or 3 like, oh, why the F am I here? I don't want to do sim racing. I don't want to do darts. I don't want to. So that was always in my mind, right? They're the people I want to target for these businesses. I want them to have the best time. Yeah. So that's also for the team racing mode, why we developed all this new point scoring system as well. So even if you're absolutely rubbish, you come away with something at the end for the points.
And I was going to say, now how long did that whole process even take? From COVID all the way until now?
Yeah, so that was March 2020, April 2020 that we first got onto Zoom Meets. Yep. We had a concept by probably May.
Okay.
We put it to F1.
Yeah.
I mean, they loved it from the start because we'd done a lot of thinking around how to make it really expansive, like with the Arcadians and all the things you can win, and like loads of other things. We're still going. We're still building this concept. I mean, what we've launched with is good, but it's not a finished product yet. I mean, it's still a long way to go. So yeah, it was a 3-year process. I mean, the first thing we had to do was like get F1 over the line.
Yep.
Okay, that's ticked. Then the next thing was like, who's going to build this game? Going down a bit of a journey with Codemasters, realizing maybe it's not going to work with them because, well, they're such a big company and they've got their game. And what we needed the game to do was all our own stuff. We needed to build overlays that would run over the top. We needed like bespoke game lengths. So then F1 actually introduced us to Studio 397, who made R Factor.
Yep.
So that was the next thing. It was like getting the game approved. Then it was like, well, how are we going to make these sims? We don't want just like a sort of bog standard sim that we want something that looks beautiful. So then it was like working with Visaro to create a sim that had never been made before. And my gosh, there was a lot of things
that is a lot to do.
And then of course there was finding funding and finding funding during lockdowns is pretty difficult.
That would have been tough.
And then it was finding the venue. And oh wow,
when
I actually think back on it, there was a lot.
Was there any point where you were like, "This is not going to happen"? Like, was there any point where you were like 3-4 obstacles deep, and you were like, "I don't know if we can get over this"?
Yeah.
I think. I mean, for me, probably for like, I mean, Adam. No, I don't think so.
Right.
There were times where like it felt that critical things needed to happen, and if they didn't happen, then the whole project would fall into heat.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, something like getting funding, like when we expected to get funding and then start building the project, it took an extra 11 months. So by the time we were like ready to start building it, gave us a shorter build time, and but then we had the war in Ukraine as well, which like completely changed everything again. And but I don't think there was ever a time like once we had F1 on board, and then Liberty Media wanted to know what F1 were doing, and they loved it so much that they ended up taking an equity share in the company as well.
Amazing.
So we got a 23-year license from F1.
I didn't even know they can do that long.
they hadn't to that point.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really amazing. I don't know if I should talk about that. But maybe.
How big is this team now in this current office here?
Well, we have our head office and our test center in King's Cross. There's probably about 20 of us there. And then this floor team, I think there's about 105 in total.
Yeah.
And this is the first site. We opened the next site in Birmingham.
Nice.
Later this year.
Okay.
And then
I was going to say, where else?
Go into North America, maybe?
Yeah, very soon. Yeah, very soon. Very rapid expansion plans.
Oh, beautiful.
Again, I need to not run my mouth and talk. But yes, it's a global domination plan, and it's imminent.
Lovely.
Yeah. As long as we don't get any more wars or pandemics in the next
knock on wood
4 years.
Knock on wood. What about you personally? Like, what is your role? And what do you kind of spend your day to day right now working on?
Yeah, my role. I've always been a child, a juvenile. My background was in radio and comedy, and I used to put on a lot of house parties for friends. And every time I put a house party on, it had to be like a spectacular theme, and I wanted 300 people at my house parties.
Gatsby right here.
Seriously, this is it.
So before we had Bounce, I had like a warehouse space in London that I started a thing called the Whiff Waff Brothers, which was very debauched table tennis from like 8 o'clock at night till 8 o'clock in the morning. So I've always been very good at sort of making mass market sort of low touch games for people. So anytime we do a new concept, I'm the one who develops all of the thinking behind the game, how everything works, all of the things that are built onto the game as well, all of the world building stuff like video content strategies, like arcade hubs, new game modes, all these kind of things. Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I.
And are you a fan of F1?
I'm a floating fan.
Okay.
I was a massive fan in the 90s. I'm old. And then I lost my way a bit. Actually, I think I lost my way a bit in the sort of Red Bull, Mercedes, same two people winning every season.
Yeah.
2010 to like 2020.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Because it was like, you could watch it and go, well, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But now, fully back on board.
Nice.
I'm really looking forward to
Cool.
Audi.
Yes.
Yeah, coming
Audi's
back.
my,
What's your predictions for this upcoming season? Constructors and drivers.
gosh. Can I pause for 2 seconds while I
Yeah.
think
Yes.
about this?
No, please.
Think about it.
Do you know, I think it's going to be a Lewis Hamilton number 8 Mercedes
Ooh,
nicking it.
That's bold.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just think that's what's going to happen this year. I think they've got a new turbo button just under the thing.
It's gonna
that no one
give
else
him
is
that
gonna
little
have.
juice.
New
Yeah.
party mode.
Yeah, and he's going to actually jump over
Jump,
the.
there you
He
go.
can start at the back of the grid and just jump over them at the
Yeah.
start.
Final.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know why, but I think that's what's going to happen.
That's it.
I hope it does,
Yeah.
and then he can retire gracefully.
And-
Gracefully.
He's done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Final two questions. I think, one of the things I'm very curious about is whenever, somebody builds a really cool concept like this, I bet there's demand for like other sports as well, right? So I'm curious, like, why did you guys even think about F1? And why not think about like taking another concept, another even racing format and doing that?
Well, I mean, it was more that F1 thought of us.
Right.
Because we were kind of the global leaders in our field.
Mm.
So they approached us. When we first were sort of batting around the concept and stuff, it was kind of like, it's an interesting idea, but does it have to be necessarily F1? We could just do a race, call the venue race. And then, but then as we went on and like just really delved into just the purity and history and wonder of F1, this is a no-brainer really to really open F1 to a whole new audience, not even a Drive to Survive audience, but a whole other new audience.
Exactly.
As soon as we kind of thought about it and knew how bullish F1 were on the project, it was just like, yeah, it's absolutely great to work with them. Really excited to do the project.
And that's amazing. Are you guys doing anything cool during out the season here in the sites itself?
We are doing like pretty spectacular watch-alongs for each race.
And how's that? How does that? What's that look like?
Well, the room that you're in now
Okay.
will be sort of like a VIP room. We'll have like panels. Maybe they'll even sit here.
Yeah.
Like all the food and beverage you can eat and drink, bubbles, race on the big screen. Pretty pricey ticket in this room. And then out on the sort of main floor, like a general admission ticket. We've got that huge 10-foot screen, we've got a load of other screens coming in. And then for like an hour and a half before the race, we're going to be doing like loads of different competitions, like people racing against each other. We've got the React game that they can play. We will find the biggest F1 fan in the room by doing like a quiz, and everything will be done on mic and camera, and so yeah, we'll just make it into like a real party atmosphere every single race.
Love it.
I'm jealous. We need to
I
come
know.
to one of those.
Honestly, in Canada, there's a place called the Rec Room.
Yeah.
The Rec Room, it's owned by Cineplex, and they have one simulator typically there.
Okay.
And I kid you not, you will see us like spend 5-6 hours there. We wouldn't go to any other game, but then when we came here, it's like Disneyland for us.
Oh man,
Literally
well,
Disneyland for us. Yeah.
I look forward to like introducing you to the next game modes that we've got coming, which are designed more for the intense sim racer.
Oh,
yeah,
can't
that'd
wait.
be awesome.
Yeah.
Love that. Well, thank you again, Ollie, so much.
No
really
worries.
appreciate it, guys. Check out F1 Arcade if you are in London. There are other locations that are going to be popping up soon, so stay tuned for
Any
that.
sneak peek on which locations? Other than
Dropping Shirley
Birmingham?
Beads.
I mean, Birmingham was
Yeah.
next, then maybe on the eastern seaboard of the States.
Okay, there's a hint.
There's a hint. Perfect. But make sure to follow F1 Arcade on
But
Instagram,
not
guys.
New York, not New York.
Okay,
Not New York.
York.
All the New York fans are like, damn it.
Yeah, I thought I better just sorry, not you.
Amazing. Appreciate it, Ollie. Thanks so much
Thank you so
again.
much for
Cool,
coming.
no worries.